The only show that's 3 dimensions away from Five Nights at Freddy's being actually a good movie. I'm your host 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Five Nights at Freddy's, released in 2023. Five Nights at Freddy's is a movie that's based off the video game Five Nights at Freddy's by Scott Cawthon. And this movie around is directed by Emma Tomei and is written by Scott Cawthon, Seth Cuddleback, Emma Tomei, Tyler McKinney, and Chris Seahill. The movie stars Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lyle, Mary Stuart Masterson, Piper Rubio, and Matthew Lillard. The movie is essentially similar to the game where a security guard has to stay the night in a room where animatronics trying to kill him. The movie is not good. It's not good at all. In fact, it's very predictable and very much like, okay, you can pretty much predict this whole movie in like 10 seconds. Like, I went in this movie, I heard it had nothing but negative reviews, and so I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch it, hold my own, because you know what, but I really did enjoy things about this movie. Like, I enjoyed the authenticity to the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, because I did look into it before I watched this movie to see what the lore is and everything, because I only played the game once or twice, and so I literally watched this, and I was like, oh, this is... like the first 10 minutes I really liked with the security guard being chased by the animatronic. I thought that was really cool. Then the movie starts to drag a little bit with Josh Hutcherson's character because he's like a single dad who basically is trying to look out for the best interest for his kid. And then of course you have and he's like in a rough and he's always can't keep a job and he thinks he sees it and he suffers from a traumatic childhood where essentially, his little brother got kidnapped when he was young. And so essentially died, and so basically he suffers from PTSD and away from that, and so he keeps dreaming about these kids in the forest and his son brother getting taken and stuff, and it's really messed up, the backstory. But I do like that it does have this backstory that is a tragic character, but then the movie does do some things I do like the movie mostly does bad things, but the movie does do a couple things I do like that it is authentic to the game. And I do like the character. I think the acting is really well done, and that all these characters, especially Elizabeth Lyle plays the the cop. She's really good in the movie as well, and she was from You, and she's really good in this. I really like her in this. I think she really is she feels like that there is a character that is unique about it. And and I also like the kid. I thought the kid played Piper Rubio. She's really good in this movie as well. And I also like I like Josh Hutcherson. I think he's fits this role perfectly. And Matthew Lillard has a small role in the movie. He probably has less than 10 lines. He's in the movie for 5 minutes. He has 2 scenes in the entire film. And the movie's not long either, but spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, but Matthew Lillard in this movie is the killer. And the movie's it's so predictable. The movie's I was thinking okay, the killer's either going to be the sister, Matthew Lillard, or not the sister, but it's going to be Matthew Lillard, the sister, or the cop. And sure enough, it's kind of the cop is in cahoots with Matthew Lillard in a way because that's his daughter, and so basically she was helping him kidnap children, and he's been killing these kids and putting them in an animatronic machine. The idea of it is messed up, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I don't think the movie PG-13 hurt it, because that is a pretty hardcore idea for a PG-13 film. I just don't think the movie's that good in a way where it feels like the setup is great, but then the execution is horrible, because it feels like basically the whole movie it feels like they just try to play it safe for children. It feels like in another movie this could have been much darker and more R-rated, but I feel like because it's based on the game and kids play this game, so they kind of wanted to make it softer for the kids so that way kids can see it and say, oh yeah, this is creepy. And I actually do like certain aspects. The third to the movie I thought was really well done, where they're oh, my dad does all this, and they work for him and all that, and I'm like, oh wow, this is interesting, I like this idea and everything. I thought that was well done. I'm so the dad died, killed himself, and then but then I'm thinking, it's not Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, is it? It better not be Shaggy. And then when he shows up, and I'm like, okay, thank God it's not Shaggy. But then when he tased it, I'm like, I hope to God it's not Shaggy in a freaking costume. If it's like that, I'm going to laugh so hard. Because that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And then, of course, it was. Somebody pointed that out. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? What? It's They're telling me he went and put a costume on, animatronic costume, to kill this kid. I'm like, what? In what world is that? Again, I don't know. I did some backstory. I don't, but I don't really know if that is from the game. If that is, then I'm sorry, but like, if that's not from a movie standpoint, that's stupid. Because I was thinking, okay, if it was the dad, why wouldn't the dad just walk out as an old man, say, "Hi, how are you?" You know, and everything, and then at the end they kill him, and then his soul becomes into the animatronic. That would have made more sense logically, but instead it's like shows up and it feels like it's trying to be like Iron Man, where it's like, oh, he's got an animatronic suit on, and now he's gonna fight him with. It's like I was thinking, like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. You know, like, and then like on top of that, like, okay, that's his daughter, and like he doesn't have no more remorse or emotion for his daughter. Then why did he keep his daughter here? Okay, like, why did he not kill his daughter? Because essentially he kills her in the end freely without even any remorse. So basically he just kills his daughter like she's nothing to him. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you know, at least it would have made more sense if he's like, I care about my daughter and don't do this. Instead he's just like, I'm just like, what? Like, and I did like that when the vandals come and like the Freddy and the animatronics tried to kill all the the looters. I thought that was pretty good, and I like that that like when he wakes up, there's a machine that's trying to because it tries to kill you by putting your face into there and making you an animatronic, but it just kills you and leaves your body there. I thought that was pretty clever. Although I will say, all the bodies are down there. Wouldn't somebody have went down there and found the bodies? I'm just saying that's another nitpick, I know. And also, he keeps streaming. I thought that was stupid when they kept going back to the kids. Like, I'm like, they keep going back to the damn kids. And it just shows you, like, wouldn't, like, just them looking it up or something, or wouldn't her explaining it be more logic than him having to see the dead kids? Because it feels like it's trying to put it together for the audience, but then she explains it, so then why would you put it together if you're trying to explain it? Like, that to me just felt like it just did not do nothing for me. I'm just like, are you serious? Come on. Like, I just feel like sometimes this movie is trying to talk down to us like we're dumb. It feels like it's trying to be like, this movie's made for kids, but at the same time, it's not a good movie for kids. It's like, it's something I almost feels like, it feels like Chuck E. Cheese made a horror film. Like, that's kind of what it is. Like, I saw a movie just like this recently called Willy's Wonderland, and that movie's actually really fun and good. Like, I will say, if you had to choose between Five Nights at Freddy's and Willy's Wonderland, I would say watch Willy's Wonderland because it's R-rated, it's gruesome, it's got some cool kills, it's awesome, you got Nicolas Cage in it. I mean, that's awesome compared to this movie where it's just like, I will probably never watch this again. Like, this is, and if you love this movie, all right, that's cool and everything. I respect that you love this movie. I just didn't, because I watched this movie and I was expecting to like it. Well, I wasn't expecting to like it, but I was hoping I would like it, because I just think that, that's a cool concept. Especially, it didn't have to be rated R either. Just the idea of fear, like, I mean, there's several good movies that are rated PG-13 that can be scary, like Insidious. Like, you could have played the fear of, like, okay, this guy is just, like, is a security guard, and it just make the whole movie. Instead, the movie lingers too much on other things besides him being in there at night. At night, it should be. And the movie's overly lit, where it should play, like, in, like, a pitch black, where, oh my god, the animatronics could be in the dark, hiding. Because the idea is power. Like, oh, the power goes on and off at night, so it should be going off, and then that's when the scary stuff should be happening. Instead, it doesn't really do that either. I mean, it just feels like you could have made an hour movie, a really good hour movie, like an hour and 20-minute movie, where the guy is just running around, like, having to survive this night, and hiding in the vents, doing this. And instead, the animatronics try to get him at the end, and that would have made more sense. And the cop, maybe she comes in and, tells him about this place, and, or something, and it would have made more sense logically. And instead, it's just like, okay, we got a story about a father and daughter. We got a story about the brother, him, his backstory about him, brother getting kidnapped. Okay, now we got this, like, dream sequence with the kids. And, okay, but then they're trying to lead you on something. But no, we'll just explain it to you so that way you won't have to watch another dream sequence with kids. Just in case you didn't figure it out. And then on top of that, you have an Iron Man fight sequence at the end with Matthew Lillard as Shaggy from Scooby-Doo in an animatronic suit with a knife. Which, by the way, he's already doing damage with the knife. Why would he need the knife at the same point? He's already doing damage with the animatronic suit. He could probably crush his head. Just like, just stuff like that to where I'm just like, And also, it never explains why the souls are the children are in the machines. Like, does he have voodoo, or does he have any? It never explains it. And I was waiting for them to explain it. I'm like, maybe like he has like a device or something. Nope, it just is. And I'm just like, okay, all right. And then the movie just ends like, and the dumb miraculous die, and then the ghost kid closes the door, and I'm like, so it never explains, like, what does that mean? Does that mean that the ghost will live on to the machine? I'm like, what does that mean? It never does anything. But I will say the acting is good, the direction is really good. I will say the music is pretty good as well, and everything. And I do like the third act. I thought the third act worked well, except for the Iron Man fight sequence thing. And I thought just the ending, I think, was well done. But the third act with the little girl, them trying to rush to get to the Freddy's, and then the little girl is like, they're playing that animatronics, and then they're leading her to like her death essentially, and that's really good. I like that aspect of it, and I also liked the opening sequence and everything, and I do like that. Also there's another nitpick. I have one more nitpick. I promise, one more, where Josh Hutcherson is running to get his sister in the thing. They use the same shot for whenever, like, that he was in the machine. He was in the machine, that he escaped, and then he ran away. So they use the same sequence twice in that scene. But other than that, I'm sorry, I won't nitpick this anymore. I did like everything else though about that. I did like that and I like the opening sequence, and I like the third act. I thought it was well done. I just didn't think this movie was very good. Everything else was, I would probably never watch it again. It's on Peacock if you want to watch it for free, if you have Peacock. If not, then you gotta pay them to go see it in theaters. I hope with the sequel that they make it better. Like, I hope that they do a lot of course correction and everything, and try to like fix things that, like make it more of like a scary movie, pitch black dark, about the security guard. Do not try to make it a human story. Make it a story just a security guard trying to escape death. That's all we need. That's all we need. That's simple. But I understand they're trying to moverize it, moverize it, where you got to turn a video game to a movie and make a lot of backstory and everything else, rather than just being a movie, But it's fine. If I had to give this movie a grade, I would give it an F. Sorry.
Where to? Why do I always get the weirdos?